Well then, welcome ladies and gentlemen to International Racing League IRL Season 8 F1 Round 3 at Spa, and at the moment the weather is raining, which is awesome to see. A little bit of wet weather now for the F1 team, and it is full wet at the moment. My co-commentator will be in the party very soon. I have invited him, but for some reason the notification for the invite hasn't gone to him, but I'll send it to him now. And then we will get on with F1, and I'll tell you some of the steward findings from last week and the drivers' standings. And there we go. Well then, F1 last week, it looked like Louis won. However, though, it in the end was Matthew who did take the win after Louis got a penalty, which was added 10 seconds time penalty to Louis. And then there was an incident between Rafa and Gil. But Gil's decided to leave the league, so his 5-second penalty will not be applying this race. Unfortunately, we only have a 15 grid turnout, but it's better than what we had last week. It is getting there. There is a lot of bugs. I understand people are not liking the game, and Kevin has joined me. Apologies for the late invite. I did send you like 3, but PlayStation being PlayStation.
No, I didn't get any. It's fine. Here now.
Oh, that's good then. Well, we are live. Sandra's just asked if you've done the tweet. If you've done it or not.
I'm doing it right now.
Okay then. Well, while we wait for people to get ready for their flying laps, let's go on a replacement driver then for Odums, who didn't even make a race because of work, which is understandable. Ash, or as Richard, has finally been given a full-time seat in the AlphaTauri. Will be teammates with Matthew Alder, so the AlphaTauri team can finally now work on the constructors title as the drivers, as Matthew's been quite dominant at the moment. He's won 2 rounds in a row. He's got 51 points to his name, with Cornelius in second place, and Cornelius could be a threat, even though he may not be quick as Matthew and Louis. He could be a threat in this championship. Same with Kaj, who's in 4th. Louis is in 3rd with 22 points. And then Cameron Young is in 5th. However, though, we are going to go on board with Richard, who's about to start his flying lap in the full wets. Let's see what he can do then. As he approaches in turn 1. Oh, a bit of a lock up there on both front tyres. Trying to get grips to it. And has a nice exit out of turn 1. Now approaching up to Radion and Rouge. I just call it mainly a Rouge, but people do say it. So the corners, oh, Ash there. It looked like he almost was losing the car, and he is losing the car. No, he's into the wall, and luckily no front wheel removed or anything. That was almost a Magnussen when he was in the Renault. Just lost complete control up a Rouge, and luckily that Renault wasn't collected either. As I believe Rafa is next on a lap. And we could see the Red Bull drivers do well, and Cameron and Rafa are not happy in the Red Bull. They may want to change, but unfortunately they can't change this season. They will have to wait next season to change cars. He's purple currently in Sector 1, as he is the first one to be in Sector 1 on a lap. Nice and tidy, a bit hesitant and a bit of the rear end a bit loose.
Can I just
see what he can
ask,
do.
it was Matthew ended up taking the win last week, right?
Yes,
After
Matthew took the win last week. I did let everyone know. As Sandra Sohaug is tuning on Blizzard, Callum Anson's tuning on Gavin, and Gavin got a good result last week, and even once thought he was not actually quick enough for F1, and he's actually now realised that he is actually quick enough, and he's happy, as we have now 6 viewers, which is awesome, as Rafa's still on the ball. Nice and tidy at the moment in this Red Bull as he passes Ryan there, who got a 3rd place, I believe, or 4th, I can't remember, I think he got 4th or 5th in the end. As right now then, Rafa is flying away now. Miles clean air, no traffic to worry about. Let's see what he can do as Lucas Serra there is in 11th. Right now, no lap. As very close to the track limits there, Rafa is. As he's now coming into the chicane. Nice and tidy entry. And it looks like a nice tidy exit. Goes to 3rd gear to get the traction. Comes up to the line, and it's a 1:55.8 as we go on. I forgot his name. Ginan, I think it is. He did a 1:55.816, so only a couple of thousandths slower than Rafa right now. As one of the Mercs, I believe that's Louis, No, it's actually Caden. So Caden does 156 flat. How about Louis though? As Pedro sets the new fastest lap, 155.804. And Pedro is very good in the wet conditions. As Jack Levity. Now Matthew Alder sets 55.4, 4/10 quicker there. So Matthew already showing his pace on the wets. As Cornelius has done a 55.804, exactly as Pedro, so in the exact same time. And Louis takes pole position currently with a 154.3. So showing Matthew that he is there this week, and he's going to be hopefully having a nice fight. And let's see what the two championship rivals can do as we move further down the grid of Cameron Young, who's actually gone off a Rouge. And that is a shame. Ooh, hopefully he didn't mess up that Ferrari. Hopefully Cornelius wasn't on a lap. Doesn't look like it. As Cash sets a bank of a 2-minute one. As the other McLaren of Lucas Serra then coming to the line. He does a 2:19 as a bank, however, though he is on a valid lap now. It's good evening, Luke Baker. Welcome to the stream. It's good to see you. As I've been mentioned in something.
Yeah, I just realised that I didn't even have access to the thing. I was writing up the tweet in my notes and I didn't even have access because of my new phone. My old phone has it, but yeah. So I guess I couldn't have done the tweet even if I wanted to.
Oh, you can't do the tweet. Right, I'll let Sandra know.
Yeah.
I'll let him know.
I just need access to the Twitter again, so then I could. Well, I mean, that tweet there was the tweet. I guess Sandra did it, so.
Oh, has he done it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, then that's already done. Well, if he's already done it, as we're on board with Luke says, Rafa's retired. Oh no, Rafa's actually binned it then. Upper Rouge. Same place as where Cameron lost it. So they're not looking to grips. Maybe they are running dry setups. And it's already looking, the rain's like slowing down. Lightening up a little bit actually. It looks like it could be into conditions in the next 5 to 2 minutes. As Lucas said then, is still on his lap. And there's a Williams gone off actually. Is that Gavin? It is. Gavin's also lost it through a Rouge. As here comes Lucas, Sarah, then Kevin. To the chicane. Oh, runs a bit deep. Not the best entry. However though, not a good exit either. A lot of wheel spin. And does a 56.1. Goes 8th fastest right now.
Yeah. It looks like Louis Welsh is on his second flying lap. I kind of forget the corner names, so I'll try and remember them as I go. But yeah, on lap right now he's put it on pole. Of course, Matthew Alder is on a 55.4 in third, beaten also by Rafa. Of course, Rafa has shown signs that he can be up there. Just got a bit unlucky in the last. I don't think he was there in the first round, but I know. Actually, no, he wasn't kinda. Yeah. But yeah, a little unlucky. I think maybe he could be up there. He has a decent time. I'm not sure if that will be able to stay so far, but of course, still on board with Louis coming through to finish Sector 2. We'll see if he's up on his time or not. Coming out onto the back straight. He is 2/10 up. Another purple sector for Louis. So and I was about to mention that he could get into the 53s maybe, but of course that spin is gonna basically get rid of all the work that he's done, so he's gonna have to come back and set another lap. It'll be interesting as well if the race is full wets as well as quali, because if it's full wets then they could be hurting a little bit the tires that they would use in the race if that happened. So we'll see, I guess, if it rains in the race or not.
That's true, there's a few on it actually.
Yeah, F5 of course had no, F4 I mean. No, not even that. Okay, I'm losing it. I mean FP anyway. Had rain, and of course we saw a few spins there. Of course you were in that race as well. So Yeah, it is tricky, as I'm not sure if you said whoa for Matthew being on Inters, but he is on Inters now.
No, I wasn't worried about that. I was actually worried about Ganani actually hit the wall as he started his intermediate lap with Caden not that far behind, so we'll go on board with the McLaren driver. And let's see what he can do, as he missed last week unfortunately, but he has made Spa, so he's looking for some points for the McLaren team, I believe, today. As I'm trying to load up the driver lineup spreadsheet. Oh, as he didn't get a good exit there at turn 1. It may be just on the crossover point from Inters to wets. Let's have a look up at Rouge. Nice and tidy, a lot more stable compared to Richard earlier, as they struggled. Was there being a crash, or was that Louis slowing down out of the pits there, Kevin? Because it was just yellows for a second.
It doesn't look like there's been a crash. It was probably Louis getting out of the way for... I think that's CC Brain, maybe.
Oh, no.
He's passing him now.
Ganan's actually invalidated. That is a shame.
Matthew Older starting his lap now, Jared.
Is he? What about Caden though? Is he
He's
still...
in turn 1.
Caden's actually bad, sorry, so just keep an eye out. Was Cameron next on a lap? Cameron is actually ahead of him on a lap right now. It's turn 10, not turn 10, but the hairpin. I keep thinking every hairpin's turn 10 because of Canada. But right now, Cameron is on a lap, so if you can keep an eye on Matthew then, as I keep an eye on Cameron, as he's really close to the track limits, really trying to get as much time as he can. And hopefully that Mercedes of Louis, who's behind I believe, is on an outlap, and hopefully Cornelius is on an outlap as well. And hopefully these two actually don't come to blows like they did in Italy. Let's see what Cameron can do then. Purple sector 2, so Cameron is currently on a flyer right now for pole position, as Louis actually set the new fastest lap with a 54.3. Actually, I did miss that, so that was a second quicker than the wets. What Matthew did, a 55.4. So that's pretty decent then. So here comes Cameron now to the chicane. See if he gets a nice tidy exit. No, he peels into the pits, so he's not happy with that lap. And he's being followed.
Going to finish sector 2. We'll see how much he's up. He should be up. He's up by 2.2 seconds. And also a purple sector is Chakalevich. He puts it on pole 53.5. Well, Matthew was probably going to smash this now. Or at least you would expect. Of course, he wasn't on pole last week because of track limits, but of course in Canada he got it on pole and he's won the last 2 races, so we'll see what he can do. A little bit of traffic ahead of him, that's not going to affect him. Coming up to the line, and he is going to put it on pole for a 52.3, so he's almost 1.5 seconds quicker than Midnight, only 2/10 away from being that. So quite a lot faster from Matthew Aller.
Yeah, that's good there for Matthew, as he's sitting at the top step where he wants to be. He wants to win that 3rd title, and he could be a mini Sebastian Vettel and Hamilton, who won 4 titles in a row, so it's possible. Maybe Matthew could be one of them iconic drivers. Although he's sitting at the top step at the moment, Jack Leverty in 2nd. However,
Mm.
and Cameron pit when they're on their lap, so I'm thinking they're expecting it to dry up to go slicks. Possibly. His Rafa's still 4th as well, even though he did his time on a wet, 54.8. It's very interesting. There's Canini section on a lap. No, he's invalidated. What about Gavin? Gavin is on a flyer, and he's actually finishing his lap. Could he challenge for pole position today in the Williams, as the Williams are the defending Constructors champions? As they climb up the gears, and he does a 53.5, goes 4th place, only a couple thousandths off his teammate, and that's good to see. Teammate rivalry and how close teammates can be between Jack Laverty and Gavin there, Kevin, as there is only 9 thousandths of a second off.
Yeah, very, very close between them two, but they'll have to up it a little bit if they want to get near pole. Of course, Matthew is in near the 51s, really, and going there not too far off. He's, I think, on a lap. No, he's not. Actually, he's...
Ooh, Pedro just does a 52.8. And Lucas Serra does a 52.9. So McLaren's a 2nd and 4th, and Pedro is in 3rd. And we did see last season Kevin Pedro was very good in the wet conditions, and he's doing very well right now, especially putting it in 3rd place, still a couple of tenths off Matthew Older. But Matthew may be running a wet setup, as we don't know. As we'll go on board with Ryan if you want to go on board with him right now as he's finishing off his lap.
They're coming through the final back straight. He's gone a little wide. He almost invalidated there. Lucky not to. As he comes into the final bus stop chicane, he's locked up quite a few people locking up there, I've seen. So he joins the people who have locked up, but he's going to put it on P3 with a 52.8, just behind Gunn and Aaron. Almost a quarter of a tenth off, pretty much. Say that's a very good lap from Ryan here.
Yeah, especially since he was F2 last season. So he's done, and I still got to say, he's done an amazing job to get up to speed. And right now, one board with Caden Forbes, and Louis not that far behind. So both Mercs are now going on their final attempts. They need to make this, especially Caden. He has had a bit of bad luck, and he's currently in Sector 1. Matthew's still in the pits. He's not going to get out. Matthew's pole position is under threat. Kaj needs to get out of the way of Caden though, because Caden is actually on a flying lap, and Caden, I know Caden can get quite heated in the cockpit. I
just want to mention Louis has a purple sector 1, so
flyers.
He could well be challenging for pole. Of course, you would expect him to.
Actually, I didn't really notice, but Tero's actually done a 52.367, very close to Matthew's time. And Matthew's gone on an outlap. I don't know why. He hasn't got enough time. There's only a minute left of the session, or is it where the game is glitched and it says we've only got a minute, but they've got more than a minute?
Probably a glitch.
Lakitu! 52 flat. Good lap there for him.
Quicker than Matthew, but of course Louis, I've seen 2 purple sectors from him. They might not be purple anymore after Lakitu's lap was put in, but he's coming through to the bus stop chicane. There's a bit of traffic there. You get out of the way. It's a racing point of Eltink, I think. Through the bus stop chicane, though, coming through the final corner, quite well on traction. We'll see if he can put it on pole now. He does put it on pole a second quicker almost by Lakitu, from Lakitu
Louis.
there.
Too many L's.
A second to Lakitu is what I was saying. I was trying to say.
Well, Caden actually did improve as well. 52.9. Not a good lap. Yeah, Ganan, you're right. He's improved as well. 52.1. And Quali has finished. It says it has. So we'll go on board with Richard in 14th. No, he actually isn't on lap. Is that Matthew? Is he going to get...
Matthew, I'm not sure if he's going to get a lap. It doesn't say for us, at least, that he will, but...
Yeah,
no,
he
he's
is.
on a lap. There you go.
So it isn't finished then. We've still got probably a minute. We'll keep an eye on him then. If you want to go on his lap then, Kevin, on his final attempt, there's yellows actually in a rouge with the McLaren.
Coming up rouge, as you said, there is yellows. It looks like that car is cleared now, though, so he's coming up. You can see, actually, it's quite a dry track. So it wouldn't be surprising if he smashes Louis' time, as Louis seems to have smashed everyone right now. In terms of lap time, he's a second quicker to the next back, but Matthew, I don't think that was a purple sector 1. I'm not sure if it showed purple for you, but I don't think it showed purple for me.
No, I did show purple.
Okay, well, then he is purple in sector 1 then. So obviously he's going quick as he's gone up on the curb. He hasn't invalidated, but that's certainly going to lose him time as he gets up on the grass slightly as well. Clips it as Louis retires from the session. Of course, he's not going to get another lap in through Puon, and he's invalidated.
Oh no, this isn't good for
on
Matthew.
his final attempt.
He's dropping it down the grid. He's the only one now. He's 8th now. He's the only person to be on an actual lap. Actually, no, Kaj is actually on a lap. And Kaj doesn't beat it. He does a 53 flat, moves into 11th place. And that is qualifying then, as Matthew is the final person on track to actually finish that, and he goes right into the wall. And yeah, that's just Matthew being Matthew. Well done.
Pretty much.
As yeah, we go down the official grid order then. Louis finally takes it on pole this time with the 51-1. As Pedro is in second, 7 tenths off. This is how quickly the Inter's conditions can change. Kitu, or Michael, I believe his name is in third. Lucas Serra fourth. Jack Laverty in fifth. Tero in sixth. Ken Forbes seventh. Matthew Alder in eighth. Ryan done a very good job in ninth. Gavin is in 10th, Kaj in 11th, Rafa in 12th. Cornelius stayed on the wets actually in the end, didn't actually do another lap in 13th. Richard in 14th, no time set, and Cameron Young sitting at the back of the grid in 15th with no time at all. Not even a banker or any invalid runs, and he sits at the back of the grid.
Yeah, obviously it looks like Louis has the advantage right now, but if you think back to last week, it looked like Louis had quite a big advantage considering Matthew was last. And, I mean, look who won that race. So, you can never count out Matthew. I mean, he seems to be able to win from everywhere, no matter how much things are stacked against him. So, yeah, I would say certainly don't count out Matthew for a race win, to be honest.
That's true, of course, as Matthew did get actually helped with a penalty, which Louis got, a 10-second, which the stewards felt which was necessary with the contact between him and Cornelius. And hopefully those two don't come to blows again and it can affect one of their drivers, because it looked like Cornelius could have won Italy with the Ferrari as well, which isn't going to happen in real life, unfortunately. But we are waiting for the guys to pick their stuff, and we'll do our race prediction when the formation lap does get underway. But if you guys want to put your prediction in the comments, do leave it down. As Adam said, sup nerds, what's your prediction for the first DNF? I think you're going to be the first DNF, Adam. Actually, you're not on the
Agreed.
grid, but
Agreed. Adam will be the first DNF.
Well then, as we have
doesn't have to race
4
to be the
seconds.
first DNF. In my opinion.
Well then, we should be on the way now, as everyone has got their setups, and it is good to see a dry track. As then, Kevin, who is your prediction for the race, and who thinks will be the top 4?
Louis, Matthew, let's look at Louis, Matthew, Cornelius, and Lakitu.
Okay then, that's
going for a bit of a different one.
Yeah, I think that could work. I think Louis is going to win today. I think he needs this win for the title fight. You know, with I'm going to say Caden. I think the Mercs could get a 1-2 if Caden picks it up a gear. Everyone is on a fresh set of tyres, of course, and both Mercs on mediums. And Matthew is also medium, so they're basically doing the same strategy. But I won't count out Michael in the Alpha Male for third. He's on the soft tyres, so he'll be doing the normal start strategy. But then I think fourth place will be Matthew. I think he'll claw his way up there, or Cornelius. Either them two up into fourth place. Then everybody else is on fresh tyres. Lakitu and Lucera on softs. Actually, both McLarens actually on the same strategy, which isn't good for them. They'll be pitting roughly at the same time, so it could cost them if a safety car does come out. And Cornelius is also on softs in 13th, and unfortunately his teammate Edward can't be here today. Hopefully he can return next week, as Ferraris were trying to get some points, and they are good teammates. As hopefully Red Bull can score some points today. But the man to watch is Louis, currently at the front. Sondra also agrees with you, Kevin. He also predicts Adam, and I don't blame him.
Did you say your top 4, or what is your top 4, Art?
I did say my top 4. I said
I didn't
Louis, Caden, the key 2, and then for fourth it was either Matthew or Cornelius. Well then, if you can look at the back of the grid for me, Kev, in case there's a massive crash where a car's going upside down, smashing the radiators in the cars, you know. chaos, as I'd like to say, as everyone should be on their grid slots now. Waiting for the lights just to start. I don't like this camera angle, what I've got. So there we go, now we're at 2 lights, 3 lights now, 4 red lights now, 5 red lights to start. IRL Season 8 F1 Round 3 at Spa, and we're underway. And it looks like Louis had a great start. And look at the McLaren behind, and Caden, a little bit of lag there from the Mercedes. However, though, Louis had a great start. Both Alphas doing the switch. Oh, and there's contact. There's Caden around already, and there's yellows already in Sector 1. Has anybody been caught up in it? As Matthew is watching Jack Laverty and Lucas Sarah going side by side through a ridge. Oh, there's more contact. Jack Laverty almost goes into the wall with a contact between him and
looks like,
Sarah.
Jack Laverty really didn't get the greatest run out of Rouge as a result, and Cornelius gets past him in the early stages of this race. Quite a few people getting good starts, really. Kaj, Rafa and Cornelius all up 3 places. Matthew Alder up 3 places, up to 5th already. I mean, I said he can do things from whatever position you put him in, and he's showing that right now. He's right behind Lucas Serra, who's right behind Pedro Souza, I'm pretty sure it is, as he might be making a move. You can see he's just got such a better run coming through Puon. And also for the lead right now, Louis is going to go around the outside of Lakitu. So Lakitu did get past him. He's on the softs. Of course, he's going to have a bit better grip, but he's kind of going to be... oh, yeah, I guess that's one way you could put it. Kind of squeezed out, and Louis is going to take the lead for now, as once again it is an Alpha 2-3 instead of an Alpha 1-3 as it was 2 seconds ago. But I'm sure Lakitu will be coming back at him, as Matthew's right behind Lucas Serra now coming into the bus stop chicane. Is he going to go for a dive? No, but Lucas still...
Ooh, he's actually alongside.
Position,
Matthew's going past
and that's
Lucas
going to
there.
allow him to go through.
Good move.
Crucially, really, the reason why Matthew got past is because Lucas decided to defend the position. If he didn't, Matthew didn't look to be going for a move, so he kind of let him go around the outside, left the door open, and Matthew said thank you very much, and he's now up to 5th.
Yeah, that is true. As Matthew, it does say apparently he's first. He's not first. It's just this game. He's actually right behind Pedro, and it says he got DRS when he hasn't. So this is just awesome. Cody's as usual. But Louis is controlling the front right now. Matthew's had a beautiful start. He's gained, let's see actually how many positions he's gained. He's gained 4 in the first 2 laps. So that's good to see. A bit of a lock-up there on the right front.
Someone else who's gained 4 is Cornelius. He started down in 13th. I am hoping that he'll continue this kind of form, because, I mean, I did put him on the podium, him and Matthew, so hopefully he can keep coming through. But yeah, quite a few people having good starts. I mean, that is helped by 3 people dropping down quite a lot, as Jack Laverty had a bit of an issue in our Rouge on lap 1. I'm not sure if Gavin was caught up in that as well. Of course, Caden went round in turn 1. He's actually getting back to the grid a little bit. He's only 2 seconds back from Gavin, so don't count him out just yet, as it looks like Cornelius is getting past Cash, and he's also getting past Ryan. This is going to be a double overtake from Cornelius if he pulls this off. He's going side by side with Ryan into the bus stop chicane, and he's going to try the outside. Ryan's going to try and squeeze him as much as he can. He's of course on the softs, so he's going to have a bit better grip. As you can see, the traction is going to get the move done for him, as Cornelius completes a double overtake there, and puts himself up into 7th place.
Kaj also made a pit stop, so he may have damage or something, but I've got to say, Cornelius, excellent move there. He basically copied what Jamie Griffiths did in F4. He made a double overtake in the exact same place, and both awesome overtakes. But right now, though, the McLarens are currently fighting to see who's the dominant McLaren, and it looks like Taro is currently quicker. Yeah,
it looks like they weren't planning to fight too much for that. Lucas kind of just let his teammate through, so obviously they're not looking to lose time. So maybe that was a bit of an orchestrated move, but we're out in front. Louis controlling it. Of course, Lakitu will have DRS on this lap, so we'll see if that helps out at all. Pedro also just about hanging on in DRS range as well, although it looks like he's probably going to lose it now. as that will put him on the back foot and allow Matthews to get right up behind him as he locks up as well. Matthews certainly going to be taking advantage of this. It doesn't look like Pedro's doing so well out there. Another lockup, and it looks like generally on exits he's struggling a little bit, and this is certainly allowing Matthew to catch up. He's not in DRS anymore either, so we could well see Matthew getting past Pedro coming up at the top of our Rouge around Radion maybe once DRS gets activated.
Could be a probability there, but he's going to have to watch out though. Taro in his mirrors, because Taro's
he goes very deep.
Oh, so did Taro.
A little bit of a lockup.
Taro's really getting impatient on the softs loose. That's a new fastest start, 145.1. Then Taro just smashes that. There's a 145 flat on the soft tyres, and those softs won't be very optimal for much longer. They're going to be starting to get too worn out as Rafa and Richard are fighting further behind, as we could see the sister team versus Red Bull still fighting, and maybe teammates squabble between Cameron Young and Rafa.
It looks like Matthew might be making a move now.
I'll keep an eye on Matthew, but I've got to keep an eye on this fight.
Nah.
It might be 3 wide if Cameron can get a good run. It is possibly going to be 3 wide. Very close, it is 3 wide, and Cameron's going in the middle. This has ended ugly before for Cameron being in the middle. And Cameron and Rafa both past Richard. Actually, Richard's lost 3 positions just on the straight there. And that isn't good for Matthew, who's Jack Levitt then moves into 11th, Cameron in 10th, and Rafa in 9th, and Richard drops all the way to 12th.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's like a Codemasters thing that I see so many people locking up, but it seems like every single corner.
Yeah, that is
2 cars locking up.
Yeah, there is now and then an actual glitch with that, where it's sometimes show that somebody's locking up when they aren't. Oh, Louis picks up a penalty. But you can tell when it is a lock-up.
I just caught him go wide. He's got a 3-second penalty as well.
Yeah, see. So, you can tell when it is a lock-up because the way the car moves, it's like going to slide a little bit. But Matthew right now is still trying to catch up with Pedro. 410th, he still hasn't managed to do it, and Taro is not leaving him alone.
Oh, he's got very close to the back of Pedro, and he's touching him. This might be decent between the two.
Oh, he's going for a move.
Maybe a little bit at least. As Matthew is going to go down the inside of turn 1, and it looks like he is going to have that move done as well. Up into P3 now, and now we can start chasing down Makita, but not before Pedro may have something to answer for Matthew's overtake. Matthew doesn't have DRS, of course. Pedro will have DRS.
Yeah, Pedro's going to have to watch out Taro.
Straight? I don't think so.
No, not at the moment. Ooh, Taro's getting really close. He's got a lot more downforce in the corners, so as soon as he gets in clear air, he could pull away from these two. Matt then in 3rd place now, as we've got another scrap further behind still for the battle, actually for 9th place. Rafa is trying to actually catch up with Ryan, 1.4 seconds up, but he's currently getting chased by Cameron, Richard, Gavin, possibly if he starts closing back up.
Matthew now already in the DRS of the Kisu. The Kisu isn't going to be benefiting from any DRS that Louis could be giving him, because there's about a 1.3 second gap between them two, so it'll put him on the back foot once Matthew gets a lap or 2 behind him. So yeah, we could be seeing really a fight between the top 2, as Louis is of course started on mediums, so is Matthew, so they'll be equal in that regard. But yeah, 2 kind of who we would say title rivals, the 2 who are most likely for the title, Louis or Matthew, could be fighting very soon.
That'll be great to see, as we have seen Matthew fight with the Taro before with Louis, and it was actually a great race to watch. They kept battling each lap, and Matthew has a J who used to race. Unfortunately, he's took a break from F1. He may return one day, but right now though the action is on Taro, as he's getting a real good run on Pedro this time, and Pedro's just not got the pace on the mediums. Maybe the medium tyre wasn't a good option, but here comes Taro now, makes the move, and Cornelius and Ryan are closing up on the other McLaren of Lucas Serra, so we've got to keep an eye on that as well, as Taro then moves into 4th. As right now then we'll go on board with Lucas Serra now, as Caden moves up into 13th, Gavin drops to 14th now. as we will keep
we're
an eye
still
on.
seeing lockups, even though it's doubtful how many are actually locking up. But Matthew now, after a lap being behind him, he's almost within half a second of Lakitu now. Lakitu seems to be slowly dropping back. He's lost a tenth in the last lap. So yeah, it doesn't seem like he quite has the pace to keep up with Louis, and Matthew surely has the pace to close up at least to Lakitu at this time. But it'll be interesting though. If Lakitu can keep in the DRS, maybe he can fight Matthew a little bit and might allow Louis to get away, as it seems really the top three are kind of in a bit of a train of their own, and then from fourth, pretty much the rest of the grid are in a train. There's the top three and then the rest. As Gunnar Naren is the first to pit on lap 7.
Well, he's the first pit for the soft runners, not for the mediums, because actually Kaj pitted for the mediums earlier on. But Caden's now making another move on Gavin. It looked like there. However, they're getting really close. I really feel sorry for Caden, because without that contact, he would have been up this fight between Matthew and Pedro. But Ryan is getting real close now to Cornelius. DRS is engaged, but he's just not enough downforce less downforce to have, and Cornelius is pulling away with a slipstream between Lucas. However, these guys are hitting purple lap times currently in Sector 1, and now Pedro's actually getting caught up, so this is actually a 4-way fight for 4th place. Oh, massive lock up there from Pedro, runs deep.
It is. Of course, Cornelius, it seems he's really on it right now. Of course, he's starting on the softs. Pedro is on the medium, so that won't help him keep the gap to the guys behind, but it might be better for him to kind of not fight them too much, and then at the end, of course, he'll be on the quicker tire rolls will be reversed, and then he'll be able to attack a little more at the end, but as long as he can keep them behind, I think of course he'll do it. But yeah, I was going to say, Cornelius, he started down in 13th, I think it was, looking at that, up into 6th after lap 7, up 7 places as well, so it looks like a really good start to the race at least.
Ryan going on the outside, basically doing what he is. Cornelius though is coming in, so the soft runners have now realised their softs are not working anymore. The Kitu's also peeled into the pit, and now this has opened Matthew to basically start picking up the pace and try and push ahead, as his pit window will be possibly on lap 12, as the softs can go quite long. Right now though, the gap between him and Louis is 2.2 seconds, and we will actually now look on the fight for 4th again, and both Red Bulls now are starting to pick up the pace, as I don't want that camera angle, as here comes now Rafa, makes the move on Ryan, and Cameron is following as well. Oh, a bit of contact there, bit of side pod touching. Oh, Cameron's going for a very aggressive lunge. There was no gap there, and if he made that move and made contact, that would have been completely his fault, but he goes for a massive dive into the hairpin, and what is he playing at with that? That could have easily ended up in a crash, and there looks like a little bit of carbon fibre on that right end plate of the Renault. A little bit of it has lost a bit of the aero. Hopefully it doesn't affect the Renault's car of Ryan, and that was a bit too aggressive there for Cameron. I know he's a bit annoyed that he is in the Red Bull when he was at the back of the grid, but you know, try and step up and keep the pace and keep challenging Rafa, as he is the driver number 1 at the moment.
Well, I mean, in general, it looks like the 2 Red Bulls have done really well. Of course, Cameron up 10 places and Rafa up 8. They don't seem to be fighting each other too much. So it seems there might be a kind of strategy there that they're kind of just following each other through, which seems to be working quite well. Of course, they're up to 4th and 5th after starting outside the top 10, so they're doing very well in that in that respect. So have to give credit where credit is due. 2 Red Bulls doing very well.
Indeed, as he's now not safe from Cameron, so Cameron actually may think about the overtake. However, he hasn't got that much ERS. He's basically used all that ERS, and he's really close now to Rafa, as the teammates are going to go side by side. Rafa is basically just letting him have it. And if I was Rafa, I wouldn't. You know, Cameron hasn't got that much ERS. He can't pull away. He can't pull you along. But the Red Bulls are risking it.
I don't think they'll really be using that much ERS in Sector 2, though. I mean, maybe in Sector 3, Rafa will use his ERS and then get back past him. So, I mean, it is a kind of strategy. I mean, it should help them get closer to Pedro if they're overtaking each other in slipstream and DRS and not actually fighting each other. I mean, that's obviously going to be a help. So I think it's kind of just a strategy there that every straight if they have to switch, they will, and if they don't have to, then they'll just keep going and pushing on. And you can see that they're almost within Pedro's DRS as well. So
Rafa just actually picked up a pen there with the yeah,
working quite well.
He won't be happy with that, but the Cameron has actually managed to pull away, so I will give him credit. He has pulled away a little bit. Now Rafa's using his overtake to catch back up. They're trying to catch up with Pedro now. The gap's 1.1 from Cameron. The gap between Pedro and Matthew is 3.3. Louis already broke the 3-second barrier to Matthew, and it's safe. Currently will win the race if he finished like now. But at the moment, the closest battle we do have on track is for 4th. As there is no other fights, everyone's pretty spread out. As we'll go the gap to leader, actually, I want to check that. Between Cornelius, the gap's 25 seconds, and I believe a pit stop round here is 20 to 18. So Cornelius has lost a little bit of time to Louis. I know he wasn't actually fighting for first, but
Rafa might be overtaking his teammate as his teammate did last lap, and he's let through. No issues there, and yeah, I think it's actually pretty clear. Kind of playing the team game there and helping each other through. As they do close up just that little bit more. They're very, very close to getting within a second of Pedro, and once they do, and now he is actually as well. So obviously that little strategy they had between them has certainly worked, as Cameron went a bit wide. I would assume that's a warning. As Ryan also is right behind these two Red Bull guys, so don't count him out, and neither Jack Levity as well. All running in a bit of a train for 4th now, or 3rd. It would be better said.
Yeah, that is true as Ryan then. Rafa, so he's 8/10 up on his personal best, so he's even going a lot more quicker now. And his personal best, his fastest lap is a 1:45.5, and the fastest lap is a 44.8. So he's basically the quickest man on track right now.
I'm just looking at how much ERS people got. The two Red Bulls are kind of, or were at least before the bus stop chicane, they were underneath 10%, and Ryan behind these two has almost 50. So Ryan might be able to make a move soon, as Jack Levity's also breathing down his neck. Don't count him out just yet either. He might be able to make a move coming down this straight. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, Rafa is in the slipstream. He's got DRS on this lap this time, so I don't think Cameron will be coming through like they did the last few laps. But certainly closing. We'll see if anyone behind is going to be making the move. Doesn't look like it, so everyone's going to be kind of following single file as they were before.
As Los Seba, so I can't say his username. It says go FCC Lucas Serra, so he's cheering on Lucas Serra. It says yellows in sector 2. Is that an AlphaTauri? It is!
That looks like
it's Ash, Richard. Yeah. Richard has bottle in the AlphaTauri there, and he has end plate damage as he lets people through, so hopefully he doesn't manually retire. I pray he doesn't, because if he affects somebody's race, that's going to be a big pen. However, back to the battle at front. Oh, more yellows. That's a Williams! That is Gavin this time. He's now lost it through P1. Other medium runners are struggling on tyre. Cameron Young pits a penalty. Oh, and almost contact there between him and Cornelius. Cornelius was so close to that Williams. And Lucas Serra's going on the inside. Oh, bit of contact side by side there between these two fighting. As now they're coming into sector 3. Still going side by side. And Lucas Serra there shows him who's boss and moves into 13th. As Gavin there drops to 14th. But back for the battle up front. We will keep an eye on, as Sandra's saying, is that Glock? It is. But Rafa then is really close to Pedro in the AlphaTauri. not in the Alfa, in the Alfa Romeo ahead. I keep getting the Alfas mixed up. Especially was in the Renault last season. Rafa's still only got 17% of the ERS. He needs to save his ERS if he wants to pull away, because you can easily pass someone at this track, but you can't pull away that easily unless you're Louis or Matthew. As Ash has manually retired, so he's given up, and that's not good because it could be a safety car later in the race and you're going to be kicking yourself. But Ash then has DNF'd, and that is our first retirement of the race. But right now, though, Rafa is still struggling to catch up with Pedro here, Kevin. And Pedro's now picked up the pace, it looks like.
It seems like he is doing quite well to keep these guys behind. He's got more battery than the train that is following behind him. Caden looks like he might be able to catch up, as I've just watched him get a pen. He's just gone wide there. But he's not too far off the train, so he could be at the back of this soon. He's only about 5 seconds off, and if they're slowing each other down by being in the train, then maybe I mean, really all it takes is one side-by-side moment between any of them. The most likely looks like Rafa and Pedro, as Rafa looks to be closing just that little bit more now. Coming through, I'm pretty sure it's called Blanchimont. And now through the bus stop chicane, you can see there's about 5 or 6 tenths between them, and now Rafa is into the pits, and Cameron, of course, is going to stay out. He's going to keep DRS, at least for the start finish straight. Coming through
from Pedro
the source. It doesn't look like he's close enough for... yeah, no, he isn't close enough for DRS, so that'll put him on the back foot compared to Ryan, who's right behind him. And maybe Jack Leverty will be able to get involved in this. He is closing, it looks like. He has a little more ERS to use. He isn't going to close up on this straight on this occasion. But it'll be interesting to see. Rafa comes out in 10th, just behind Cornelius. So Cornelius's undercut has put him, it looks like, really in a net P3. Of course, Rafa's now going to come through on the softs, and into Le Com. He is going to get that move done up into 9th place, and you would expect him to start pulling away now. You can see how much more grip he has as well.
Yeah, plenty of grip there on the softs, even though a bit of a lock-up. And I think Rafa's done the best strategy he could have done. Undercut, try and beat Pedro on track, and also try and catch up with Louis and Matthew. Since the gap between Pedro and Matthew is still 3.3, and the gap stayed at that pace. And let's have a look at Matthew. How much ERS has he got? He's got around about 60. Louis only got 14, so Louis used a lot of his ERS. So Matthew still could be a factor in this race at the end and could get a 3rd win in a row. The only driver this season to get a 3rd win in a row is actually Lewis, URL_Lewis, as Louis is in the pits. So is Matthew, so Matthew's basically copying what the leader does. What about Pedro? Pedro's in, so Cameron Young is also in. Ryan, everyone's coming in the pits. This could cost Matthew as well, or Louis.
It'll be interesting to see where Cornelius comes out, and Rafa as well, compared to all these guys pitting. They were in the train before. Cornelius was in the train quite a while ago before he pit. 4 laps before all these guys. Cameron Young is still in the pits. Cornelius is coming down the start finish straight. Will he get ahead of anyone? It looks like he might. Will he get ahead of Cameron? I think it might be close between them two, as they actually come out almost side by side. He gets ahead, and Lucas Serra is also going to get past Cameron Young, so he's lost out 2 positions in the long run, but now he's on soft tires. He should be able to make moves, as Cornelius is right on the back of Pedro Sousa, and he's going to make that move.
Oh no! There's a massive crash. Lucas Serra just turned right in to Cameron there, and Cameron is furious. That has just cost him the race, and I think he is going to retire. Please don't manually retire on track.
Looks like also has wing damage. He's going quite slowly. Yeah, he does. He's lost his left end plate. So pretty much Pedro and Cornelius are going to continue this train, as Rafa's actually right behind Matthew, Jared.
He is. I told you that undercut could be working.
Yeah, they're on the same lap old tyres as well. I think Rafa's might be a lap older. That might be a tyre glitch.
That might be a tyre glitch.
I mean, only a lap in the difference, and he's in DRS. I mean, Matthew's running for P2. You can see Louis has now put 2 cars between himself and Matthew. Matthew does have to pass them, so Matthew's lost out quite a lot from that pit stop, it looks like.
Yeah, I think he got held up actually by one of the Williams cars or the Renault or something. There was a car that passed him and he was a bit hesitant. But you're alright, Rafa is doing an amazing job. I really feel sorry for Cameron. The driver sets a new fastest lap, 23.8.
Lap of the race as well.
Oh, very close to Matthew there, getting really close with gearbox. But yet again, as we've got to speak about Lucas Serra and Cameron Young. Lucas is in the pits. Cameron possibly will pit as well for a new set of tyres. Hopefully they don't retire. But people have been saying Lucas Serra is a bit dangerous on track. And we just saw it there first hand. But you know, I don't think Lucas actually saw him.
Looks like Rafa is going to be going down the inside
Beautiful
of
move down,
Matthew Older, and he's going to get it just before they come as well. So now he's up to what is a net P4. The 2 guys ahead are for position. They're going to the end. They pitted a little earlier than these guys. So they of course are for position, but in theory you would expect Rafa and Matthew to be able to get past them. So really, Rafa's put him in, you would expect a future P2. Louis looks to be in control of this race right now. I mean, he pulled a 4-second gap to Matthew just before the pit stops and after the pit stops as well. Of course, Matthew losing out a little bit more. So, looks like Matthew's not doing as good as he could be. Of course, the pit stops wasn't really his fault, but before, I think he could have maybe been a little closer, so we could get some insight at the end of the race. But Rafa seems to be doing quite well now. He's almost in the DRS of Gunnar Aaron. Gunnar Aaron is a little bit off Lakitu right now. There's a few more Codemaster lockups, of course.
Well, actually, I have to say, as Rafa sets the new fastest lap, 43.7, as Lucas has gone off. Can you just keep an eye on Lucas, see if Lucas has got any damage to his car? I will keep an eye on the fight here, but he's just crashed.
He doesn't anymore.
Alright, okay. That was
he has pitted to change it. His wing's fine.
Well, as I was saying, Rafa may be now in net second, but we did notice that he picked up a penalty. Matthew, I hadn't noticed yet, has picked any penalties. So, as actually Rafa's now making a move on Otero inside. Matthew follows. Easy move there. Matthew doing basically what Cameron did. And Matthew right now is doing very well to just follow Rafa through the field and move up to 4th, as the next target will be Michael.
It has to be said, Matthew has a lot more battery. He has like more than double what Rafa has in terms of ERS, and on this track it's more crucial than ever that you have ERS ready to use when you need it. Matthew has that. Rafa not so much. Of course, once they close up to Lakitu, we'll see if Lakitu will be able to keep them behind for any bit of time. Of course, Gunnar Aaron was cleared quite quickly by both of them as Matthew followed him through. We'll see if something similar happens with Lakitu, or maybe Lakitu will get passed by Rafa and maybe cause Matthew problems. You just never know. As this yellow flag's in sector 2,
yeah, Lucas has manually retired.
Car. I don't think he's actually.
No, he manually retired. He didn't crash or anything. He manually retired. That could cause. Oh, and now Cameron spun. That better not cause a safety car. What's?
If it doesn't affect anyone and it doesn't bring out a safety car, then everything should be fine. As Cameron, how slow's Cameron going?
Oh, Rafa now under threat by Matthew though. Okay, Matthew is probably worried that he could possibly get a penalty, but now he makes the move round the outside. He goes. Rafa defends, but can't really stop him. And Matthew knows he's losing so much time. The gap between Michael Royce and Louis is 5.2 seconds. And Louis is doing an excellent job right now. Just pulling away. He's been the leader of the race from start to finish. Which actually I believe he has as well. As he actually has been leading the race from start to finish. So he's done an excellent job. As we're going board with Pedro.
Really has. He has he like not I'm pretty sure he's led every single lap as well. I don't think he got past while he did his pit stop. I don't think anyone that went longer than him on the medium.
No, I actually think he's the only one who's done that.
He has led every lap, I'm pretty sure.
I think he's the first person to do it in IRL. I don't know about Matthew, as these two actually do own a few records, like 6 wins I believe in a row, I think both of them own. And that was season 6 when Louis was racing. But right now though, Louis is on basically at home, sitting at home relaxing, and doesn't really have to worry. As Pedro's going to have to worry about Ryan very shortly. We'll keep an eye on Matthew, Michael, Royce and Rafa as well. We're going to try and keep an eye on both fights. As don't know, is he safe? Oh, I've got this awful camera. I don't want to see the cockpit of the car. I want to see full car. Matthew could be in attack range. Matthew is in attack range. He's going for it. He's going on the inside now, and he makes a move into the chicane. Side by side. This could end in tears between these two. Matthew's still fighting it. And Michael tried the best defense, but could go for a lunge.
Rafa to close up a little. If Rafa can clear Lakitu quick enough, he could be back in DRS range of Matthew, as he, I think, lost it. As Matthew pulled away from him a little. So we'll see how how Rafa fares with Lakitu. He's coming through Puon. He's not going to be close enough right now to make that move. Coming onto the back straight. It looks like as Rafa gets a penalty, that's not going to help him out.
No, that's the second one.
Yeah, it looks like he might be able to make a move into the bus stop. They have similar ERS modes. No, he's not actually. On this occasion, at least.
I'm just checking on F2, as F2's on lap 19, so they're actually identical on the time between F2 and F1, which I've noticed. But Rafa isn't doing a good job on penalties. Could cost him a podium. Right now, Matthew's basically safe, I think, for second. I think he is really safe, as actually Ryan has really closed up on Pedro now, 3 and a bit tenths. Ryan possibly could go for an uptip, but I've got to keep an eye on Michael Royce, because he's possibly making another move on Matthew. Not close enough. What about Ryan? Nothing at the moment. It looks like the tyres are starting to die, and that DRS what Pedro's getting isn't helping. I will keep an eye on the fight ahead. It's Cash that's the fastest lap, 142.8, currently in 12th place. Will not get the fastest lap point, but he'll steal the fastest lap point from somebody else, which was actually from Rafa, who did 43.7, so a second quicker.
It looks like Lakitu's not actually necessarily losing time from Matthew. He's still in the DRS, and through sector 2 he's being able to stick with him. He'll gain a little bit of down this straight with a little bit of slipstream, distant toe, as will Rafa, but it looks like Lakitu's doing quite well to keep with these guys. A factor could also be that Rafa and Matthew's tyres are going off a little bit, as then the mediums will be the better tyre by the end, I would say. But he is doing quite well to keep us in DRS range.
Yeah, he is doing well. Yeah, he's also doing well defending against Rafa. He's not close enough, and he's low on fuel as well, as we're on lap 20. As we are now past the 90% rule. Which I actually found out, actually, that the 90% rule is that they round down. I thought they rounded up, but apparently they round down. Although Michael's getting closer and closer, possibly no looks though, but he's getting closer now. He maybe needs a little bit more ERS, but he needs to start thinking about his fuel, because he is low and he won't make it to the end of the race. He's now optimum on fuel now as one light does come off, so he's trying to just push that little bit of juice out of that car to just close on Matthew and defend from Rafa. As Ryan is still in 7th, struggling. Oh, there's yellows. Is that Cameron? It is Cameron. He has a massive damage on his wing. He's not having a good day in the office, and I think he will retire now. As he binned it, it looks like, on the track somewhere. Matthew, 7 seconds from Louis, Kevin. 7 seconds. Oh, now 6.9 to 7 seconds. That is a massive gap.
Indeed it is. Obviously, again, the pit stops didn't work out as Matthew probably would have. As what has happened to? Oh, okay.
Cameron retiring.
I saw yellow flags coming through the bus stop, and I saw Louis' car there, and I was like, oh no. But yeah, Louis.
Oh, hang on. Rafa's got Cameron, a miles decent move around the outside of Michael. Great exit. He's going for it now, and he knows he's got nothing to lose. Runs deep. I'm sorry to cut you off there, Kevin, but it was just an easy move there, as you were saying, as Rafa then moves into 3rd.
Rafa is now, of course, in the DRS slipstream of Matthew Older. Matthew Older has ERS to defend. Rafa has nothing to attack. Lakitu could come back at him here. No, he actually can't. Neither of them have ERSs. He's still closing those. Matthew didn't really use any ERS, and that could be a little strategy from Matthew to let him through and then get him on the final lap, and then he won't be able to get him back, of course, because he'll run out of overtaking opportunities. But for now, Rafa is ahead. Time penalties, I'm not completely sure. I have seen Rafa get at least one. I don't think I've seen Matthew get any, so in that sense, maybe Matthew's being smart and just saying he has penalties. I don't. So he doesn't need to fight this. Lakitu could be a dark horse as well. I'm not sure about his penalties, but yeah, as Louis out in front on this last lap, he's got away. You said the gap was 7 seconds. Jared, it's now almost 7.5.
Yeah, the guy, I don't know what the Mercedes have done. They may be using that DAS system. But right now then, the battle on Ryan. Still close on Pedro. He may go for a chicane dive bomb, as Luke says, sorry, Toxic Tomato. Well, if he does report you, Lucas, do send your footage to the stewards in the instant thread for F1. And they will be resolved or anything, and whatever happens.
There's quite a few fights here. Jared, there's a fight for 5th between Gunnar and Pedro and Ryan, and then there's a fight for 2nd between Rafa, Matthew, and Lakitu. Right now, it looks like Matthew is probably going to he's probably going to get Rafa now. He's in DRS. He has ERS to burn. Rafa doesn't. Rafa's pretty much used all his ERS. Will he be close enough by the end of the straight? It looks like he won't be. So for now, Rafa's going to be ahead.
Oh God, Terro's just collided with Ryan a little bit there, a bit of contact. Luckily no damage. That was a bit of a lock-up, and Pedro moves into 5th then. So both Alphas now 5th and 4th. And Rafa's hold his own at the moment. He needs to save all his ERS he can, because there's one more straight what he needs to defend. We're on the final lap of this race. Anything could happen. Matthew engine could explode, gearbox could fail, tyres could fail, you know, Matthew just could crash. I'm not hoping that, of course, don't worry.
You want him to crash, Jared?
Maybe for the Spicy Championship up, but you know, I've got to say Matthew's done a very good job, especially where he qualified. As Carriage sets a new fast lap 42.4, so Cameron wouldn't steal it. But right now, the man who we're going to go on board with is Louis, who is finally got a win. He says his win got robbed last week by the penalty, but he's finally got it. His cash actually retires, I don't know why. But here comes Louis then, takes the win in Spa, finally gets the top step of the podium. Rafa is holding on for 2nd, but will penalties change his position? Rafa goes 3rd, Matthew takes 2nd, look, Michael Royce is in 3rd place then in the end. Rafa drops to 4th, Pedro 5th, Ryan 6th, Tero drops to 7th then. Jack Laverty drops to 9th, and Cornelius moves into 7th place there, so good job for him. And Caden is going to round up the top 10, as Gavin is in 11th, quite far back. As we watch. Okay, now coming around the final 2 corners for a disappointing Spa weekend. He is the Bottas of the team, but it is unfortunate for him finishing in 10th there.
in terms of the top four, I'm pretty sure I got 3 out of 4 right. I'm not sure. I think I put Lakitu fourth.
I got Lukitu right for third,
But
I
yeah,
think.
yeah. I said Louis. I said Louis Matthew Cornelius Lakitu. It was Louis Matthew Lakitu, then Rafa. So I got the majority of it right, I guess.
And it's actually Rafa. I'm very surprised at that. He did start at the back of the grid, but I thought it would have given it to Matthew. But I actually kind of agree as well. Rafa didn't deserve it. But here then is your top three. Louis then takes the win, bringing the championship fight to Matthew Alder. That's good points to score against him, and Matthew takes second. And Michael Royce, I believe this is his first podium in IRL, and is in third place. And I think it's going to be some good points for the Alfa Romeo team. And what a good race it was. As we will now move to the official results, as the game does load. Okay then, here is your official results then. Louis takes the win, Matthew Alder in second, Michael Royce in third, Rafa fourth, Pedro a decent fifth place today for him from starting in second, recovery drive for fifth as he didn't really got a plan. Ryan in sixth then, good result for him. Cornelius actually in seventh, Tero in eighth, Jack Levesey ninth, Caden 10th and Gavin in 11th. Kaz 12 just finished in with the 90% rule. Cameron did finish in the 90% rule, I believe, on lap 20, so I don't know why it says he's DNF, but he did finish in the 90% rule. Lucas Serra didn't. He finished 14th. Ash also DNF'd, unfortunately. So that's unfortunate, actually, Richard, as it was his first race in the AlphaTauri team and he's let him down with a DNF, and Matthew yet again doing most of the work. But Louis wins at Spa.
Once again, Matthew showing that he can pull results from starting in not so favourable positions. This time he didn't take the win, of course it was Louis, but Matthew Alien.
Alien indeed. Well then, Kevin, if you can invite the top three for me then, while I get ready for them for interviews. As I will keep an eye on to see who's won F2, if it actually shows me who's won F2. Let's have a look. It was actually BRT Matthews won, Devin second, and ILRT Thomas in third, Brandon fourth, Joey fifth, Felix in sixth, Nobody in 7th, Energy Zeus in 8th, and Black Phoenix in 9th. So Rocket Welsh is really struggling in that tier, and he was actually a favourite to win. And tell me when you have suggested them then.
And what's Lakitu's
Look you. Like exactly that game type. Just type LAK and it should be pop up. If I don't, I'll invite. Oh, hang on then. Give me a sec. His PSN name is LAKITU and then 886. Well, I'll invite the guys you've just suggested. Don't know if Lou would join though, because he's not really, and there's apparently no players you've suggested apparently. Oh, there we go. Don't know if Lou would join, he's not really an interview person. I know Matthew is, as he always likes to be on the interview.
886.
Yeah, 886. There we go. Well then, we will start off with our race winner, and we can, if Louis and Lakitu may join. Well then, Matthew, unfortunate today that you didn't get the win. You did get second place in the end, and finally your win streak has been beaten, and there's actually going to be a nice championship fight this season between you and Louis. How do you think your race went on your point of view?
Well, the race, I think I did the best possible job I could. I got second. My quality position wasn't the greatest because Ash held me twice, so I didn't really get a chance to get another lap in. But the race I did very good. I maximised what I could from the start. Got up to like 5th, I think, and then I passed Gonanen. I think it was shortly after. And I just tried to follow Faz, save a bit of ERS, so that when I got past him I could catch up to Lakitu, and I did. Managed to catch up to Lakitu, got past Lakitu, and actually I didn't get past Lakitu. Lakitu pitted before I could get past him, so then I was just trying to drive him around by myself. Lou was opening up the gap, but I wasn't really too fussed about that because he was going to open up the gap anyway. I wasn't very fast. I didn't think I'd be very fast, so. And, well, I didn't think I'd be very fast because I changed my front wing because I thought it would be quite high. I lowered it and it wasn't a good idea, so.
Well, and that lowering your front wing didn't help you then. But speaking about quali, we actually did catch you doing the glitch, we did notice, cheekily. Were you actually going to complete that lap in the end if you didn't invalidate, or was that just to show Sandra the glitch or something?
No, it wasn't. I wasn't going to complete it, and it wasn't to show Sandra the glitch. I didn't even know it existed until I drove around and it just let me continue driving. I wasn't going to complete the lap. No, you.
Well then.
Well, I don't say it was obviously illegal, so I wasn't going to complete it.
It's good to see though that you knew it was illegal, but it was unfortunate that you couldn't resolve your race into a win. As last week you had poor qualifying, this week you didn't have a good qualifying, you got second, and no penalties are going to give you the win this time, I don't think. But other than that, do you think Louis is going to be a serious threat now since he's had this win and more motivation for the championship? A few of the rounds to go, as there aren't a lot many rounds it used to be, as it used to be 21 rounds, it's now only 11 a season. So do you think Louis still got a chance, or do you think you've got him where you want to win it?
Yeah, he obviously has a chance. I think as long as I keep up the consistency, though, I'll probably get it because I've came first and second from starting like first, 14th and 8th. So yeah, I think as long as I just keep up this in the race, then I should be fine. The tracks, though, obviously, tracks are quite good for him, as he pointed out before we joined the spy. So that's probably the only problem that I'm probably going to have, is just making sure that he doesn't dominate in all of those.
Well done. Before I ask you the final question of what the next week round is, Kevin, do you have a question for Matthew or anything like that?
No, not really. I'm just tired right now.
Okay, then I'll let you rest. Well, that's a congratulations on second, but Zandvoort is next week, which is a new track to this year on the calendar, and it's basically an ABS track. But do you think you could get another podium and maybe try and have a win this time, and try and bring your winning streak back into contention, or do you think a podium is the best you can get?
Well, the win is always on the cards, obviously, but I don't really know because Zandvoort, I don't really know if I'm good at it or bad at it. I've never really been top at it, but I think the last time I did it was about a month ago, so it could be different from then. So maybe. I think the win's obviously on the cards. Just depends on how Louis does.
That's true. Well then, congratulations on second place. Unfortunately it wasn't the win, and hopefully we can see you on the podium again for Zandvoort then. Well then, we do go to our race winner, Louis. You finally get the win. You thought the Italy win was robbed. How are your emotions with the win today, and how do you think your race went?
I'm more excited we actually got wet weather in quali. The rain dance actually worked. Yeah, quali was quite nice for once. Managed to have the pace on the wets and in the inters, so managed to storm my way to pole. Although there's probably a few mistakes in the lap, which are ironing out in the future, but it's all a learning curve. Race start, I knew like Lakitu would be near at the start, but luckily I managed to stay with him throughout the middle sector and managed to get my way back through again. And obviously I got a penalty quite early on, and then was bricking it literally most of the soft stint because I got 2 warnings. But luckily Blizzard sort of fought with Rafa and Nikita in the end to second place, so I could pull the gap.
Well, yeah, we did see you pick up that penalty, and Matthew isn't really the person to pick up penalties. He did pick a penalty in Italy, I believe. But did you think if you didn't pull a gap, do you think there was a chance that Matthew could get a 3-second penalty, even though he was fighting with Rafa? But if he didn't, do you think he could have caught up with you if he wasn't fighting with Rafa?
I think if it was between like the 2.8 to 3.2 second gap, I think he would have got one. But if it's like, say, a second or two, then I don't think Blizzard's usually quite cool under pressure, like in that instance. So, yeah, like a robot.
He's a robot indeed. But you did very well today, and you finally got the win what you want, and it is going to help you out in the championship. You're going to gain points on Matthew. But as I asked Matthew, as do you have a chance to beat? Do you think you've got a bigger chance than what you had in season 6? As you started, I believe, midway through the season of that season. Do you think now, since you've started the start of this season, do you think you could challenge Matthew a lot more for the title and try and stop his streak of a 2-time champion?
Well, yeah, I mean, with Canada and Italy, I hate the tracks, but I seem to have like pace around each track that I hate. So now being the full season, I think I can take the fight to Blizzard. Just depends how much I think each of us practice, really.
Okay,
and
then.
Penalties.
Ah, yeah, penalties indeed as well. Kevin, do you want me to ask the final question, or do you want to do it since you are tired?
You can.
Okay then. Well then, Zandvoort is the next race. As I asked Matthew, how do you think you're going to be on there? Do you think you could get another win, a podium, or just some points on the cards? How do you feel you'll be there?
I feel like Zandvoort's a good track for me, but as long as it's like sort of like Austria, so as long as you keep consistent, you'll be alright, and it's a bit hard to overtake. So pole will be quite crucial between the top sort of guys, between like me, Blizzard, Cam, maybe even Rafa. So we'll just have to see. But I feel like I can definitely take the win though, as long as penalties stay down.
Okay then, well, that's good to hear that you could expect some good results with Matthew. But it's great to see you finally get a win and stop the streak, and no dominance this season from Matthew, as he had 2 easy championships I think last season. I think he's got more of a threat this year. But congratulations on both of you for getting first and second, and hopefully we see you at Zandvoort. And thanks for the interview.
Thank you.
Well then, Kevin, I will do the closing out procedure, and since you're so tired and drained, I will finish us off.
I only got like 3 hours sleep last night, so.
Lightweight. Well then, this has been International Racing League Season 8 F1 Round 3 at Spa. I've been your commentator, IRL Neon, or as Jared Fosbury. I've been joined by my co-commentator Kevin as Aspect, or as Nexus Aspect as he used to be. And we've had a very great day. He is absolutely drained. But it's been a great race today for the F1 tier. And if you do want to see some more action-packed racing for the International Racing League, do watch the F2 stream, which was on at the same time as F1, or tune in tomorrow at 4:30 UK time for F3 and F5, where the championship is very close for those 2 tiers. And we'll see you guys next time. Goodbye for now.